Good morning, good morning, good morning. Fellas. Welcome to the live stream on this beautiful Saturday morning. Hope everybody had a good 4th. But I wanted to hop on this live and I wanted to talk about how to stop feeling disrespected. Because I feel like a lot of us dudes, we always feel disrespected. It's all about respect. It's all about the respect we want and the respect that we're not getting. And I think that not getting respect, it causes a lot of problems in our life. Or I would say, I more so should say, seeking that respect causes a lot of problems in our lives. All right. So I want to talk about, how do you stop feeling disrespected all the time? When somebody does something, when somebody says something to you, how to stop feeling disrespected by men, by women, by your kids, your coworkers, life itself. How do you stop getting knocked around so much, right? So that's what I want to talk about, man. I was like compelled to talk about this. And so I want to talk about what is disrespect. And then I want to talk about how to handle it. And then at the end, I'm gonna give you just a couple of steps to kind of make it easier to handle disrespect when it comes your way. Okay. So what is disrespect? We all deal with this, right? So here's how I interpret this, man, over my life. Disrespect is nothing but an interpretation. Okay, now follow me here. I'm gonna get deep with it. Disrespect is how you are interpreting somebody's actions, somebody's behavior towards you. Okay? And once you really understand that that's what it is, like you are seeing somebody's action, somebody's behavior through your lens. Okay? And your lens has been developed over the course of your life since you was a kid, how you grew up, the environment you grew up. So you may have a way of carrying yourself where somebody could do something, say something, be like, yo, that's disrespectful because of how you was raised, right? So if they say something to you, it's going to hit you a certain way. And it's really important to like understand the mindset behind this, bro. Understanding that when somebody says something, does something to you, how you're processing that, how you're seeing that can either cause you more problems in your life or not. But it's all on your interpretation. It's all on your mindset. So this is like, once you like really understand this, I feel like this is what can start to set you free from feeling disrespected by everything. Okay. So yeah, I really want to get clear on like what disrespect is. It's nothing but like how you're like processing what somebody said to you, what somebody did to you. Because you got to realize that like, no matter what anybody is saying or doing to you, it really has nothing to do with you. It has to do with their conditioning, how they were raised too. It's almost like we overlook that. We don't have enough awareness to really understand that when somebody says or does something, it's coming from their conditioning too. So once you can kind of start to understand that, you can like separate from it. You don't have to blow everything up so much. Now, this is not to say there's not going to be moments where somebody is blatantly being disrespectful to you. Okay. If somebody cussing at you, calling you out your name or something, if they tone and shifted, now they're yelling at you. There will be moments where people are being blatantly disrespectful. And I'm hopeful that you're a sharp dude and you'll be able to kind of tell the difference here and recognize the nuances. Okay. But I'm talking about just in life in general, for example, man, like sometimes my son, I talked about this in one of my recent videos. Like my son is getting to an age where he kind of doing like the back talking thing. So I have to kind of check him in a way that he understands and also teaching him about respect and how we talk to adults. So I've learned that there's ways that your kid could even speak to you in a way that may trigger you and you feel disrespected. So this disrespect thing is like across the board. That's why I said this with men, women, children, coworkers, and it's all how you're interpreting it. If your kid is saying something to you and you weren't allowed to say that as when you were a kid to an adult, that's going to trigger you. You're going to take that as like disrespect. Wait, I wasn't allowed to do that. I'm not about to let my kid do that. So it's being mindful of those types of situations as well, and not personalizing every little thing. Okay, it's being able to kind of take a step away and not take everything so personally too. All right, but it really starts with how you interpret it. Okay, and it also goes even deeper with the stories that you tell yourself about any action, any behavior, anything that is said. Somebody cut you off in traffic. It's the story that you start telling yourself about that. Oh, this person is disrespectful. This person don't care about nobody but themselves, et cetera, et cetera. It starts with the stories that you're telling yourself, and you have to become aware of those stories. Otherwise, they're just going to run you. You know what I mean? So now that I kind of like talked about what disrespect is, I appreciate you joining the live too. I want to talk about how to handle it. So now that you kind of have an idea of what it is, what do you do when it comes your way? Because this shit is not easy that I'm talking about. We all know that this is very difficult. You got to start working the muscle of doing this. So like when disrespect is coming your way, you have to start becoming aware and getting curious about how you're interpreting that behavior. Okay. I know this is getting deeper. I don't want to get too complex with you, but when somebody says something to you, you have to become more aware of the story you're telling yourself about that. Is this person trying to deliberately disrespect you? You see what I'm saying? Like, what is their intention behind what they're saying or what they're doing? You might be at work and somebody might say something to you a certain way, and maybe they're not intending it to be disrespectful. But your mind, the story you tell yourself based off of your past, your conditioning, your upbringing, you're taking it as disrespect. So that's why it's important to get really curious and to even ask questions if you need to. Get curious about the experience, man. That's the only way. That's otherwise you're just gonna like believe the story that's going on in your mind. And it's not always true. And then you start operating from, all right, well, they said this to me. That means they must see me this way. And then you start operating from that way. Now you're getting defensive. Now you're having to over-explain yourself when that wasn't even the case. They just needed some help with something. And maybe their tone wasn't like in a way that you're used, like you can't receive it. You know what I'm saying? Because it hits you in a certain way. You know, disrespect it can look like that's stuff that I used to deal with too. Like if somebody talked to me a certain way or if their tone was a certain way, oh, that's automatically disrespect. It's almost like you have to realize that not everybody's going to say things to you in a way that you can necessarily receive it, especially like in a work setting. Everybody working, everybody's trying to make their money and trying to do their thing. So it's very important to not be so overly sensitive to things. It's very important to not take everything so personally. You have to realize that not everything is about you. People are just it's like a video game. People are just moving in their own storylines. And once you can really start to understand this like mindset, this shit will set you free from everything getting on your nerves, everything agitating you, everything making you angry and stuff. It's about your mindset, man. It's the stories that you're telling yourself about things. And so I really want to like highlight that point, man. It's really important to like what else did I write here? You got to be mindful of your programming. We all been programmed by our parents, by our environments that we grew up in, by the TV shows, the movies we watch. Especially if you were a brother, if you black and you grew up in a certain culture, we don't take kindly to disrespect. You know, and I'm not about to make this about race or anything, but culturally, there's different things that go on. So you want to start just being aware of like your programming. Like I was programmed in a way to not be spoken to a certain way because that's disrespectful. And that means I'm supposed to check that. Right? That's what we've been taught. So it's really important to understand that. Understand what you've been taught, man. Start questioning what you've been taught. Start questioning your programming, your upbringing, all that stuff. And the more that you can understand that, what I like to call your internal operating system, the more you can understand that, the more power you give yourself. You give yourself power in how you respond to things. Stop overreacting so much. I used to deal with this too, man. I used to be at jobs, and I've quit jobs like in the past. Something gets said to me sideways, and I'm getting triggered. I'm in this elevated state, and now I done popped off like, hey, fuck you. You know what I mean? And like, I'm out of here. I don't care about it. Like, that's a very little boy way of operating. That's another aspect of this too, the disrespect. You want to be mindful of when that little boy version of you is popping up. It's a very powerful thing, man. Because when we were younger, we might have been disrespected. You might have been a teenager. You might have been 9 years old and being disrespected. And those wounds go so deep that when it happens now as an adult, it's like a subconscious reminder to you, to your system. And you start lashing out in a certain way. Now I'm getting real deep with it now. I'm taking it, but that's some stuff you want to be mindful of too. Hey, the couple of people that I have in here right now, I really appreciate y'all spending some time with me this Saturday morning, y'all. All right, let me know that my sound is okay and that y'all can hear me all right. That everything is working smoothly. Just like let me know in the chat or something like that. But so yeah, now that I kind of hit on like how to handle disrespect, I hope that made sense. So a couple of like actionable things you can do when you're trying to handle disrespect. Okay, so I don't have a lengthy list here. I just wrote a couple things that came to my mind. One of the most important things is to pick your battles. Okay, not everything has to be a damn battle. When you get hit with that sense of like disrespect. Okay, somebody done said something to you at your job. Hell, your kid then said something to you, which you're taking it sideways. They shouldn't be speaking to me that way. Pick your battles. Does every single thing have to be addressed? Don't get me wrong. Some things do need to be addressed. And it's in how you address it too. But it's really important to like be selective with where you're placing your energy, where you're placing your time and your attention in addressing this stuff. Some of that stuff don't even matter. Like, I always go back to somebody saying something to you because I feel like that's something that I dealt with. I dealt a lot with like how things got said to me. And because I had a real like kind of crazy, chaotic childhood too. So I grew up in that way of like nervous system get all out of whack. Like somebody said some shit to me. Like, I don't like that, man. She got me feeling all kind of like, and then I felt like I would have to like address that and would make everything like a battle unnecessarily. Not everything needs to be a battle. You don't have to like overly explain yourself and have to prove your point in every situation. Choose, learn how to choose. You have the power of choice. Okay, like, yeah, if you're in a relationship with somebody and maybe your girl said something to you sideways, yeah, that's something that you may want to have to address and have a conversation about. Even with your kids, you may want to have to address this and have a conversation with them. But somebody on the street that you don't know, that you're not going to see again, somebody in the grocery store that that maybe stepped into your path or something, not all this has to be addressed. That's your ego getting in the way. That's that idea that you have of yourself being stepped on and you feel like, I need to address this. This is going to make me feel bigger and better about myself. Nah, man, like maybe in the moment, but be mindful of like the energetic feel, man, that you get pulled into. You see what I'm saying? Because I've learned that if you grew up in a lot of chaos and shit, like you've been trained to want to step into that. You want to step into chaos. So you'll kind of like create the chaos based off of, hey, I feel disrespected. I'm about to let this person know right now. Don't talk to me that way. And then that starts the snowball effect. Now your nervous system all out of whack. Now you're about to be in conflict. And if you grew up being used to conflict, now you're right back at home. So it feels uncomfortable and it feels different to like operate differently, to let shit slide, to let things go, to pick and choose your battles. It's going to feel weird and unfamiliar at first. You feel like you're letting somebody get over on you. That's something that you got to learn too, man. Who cares if they're getting over on you? You should be working on something in your life where that don't even matter. You purpose driven, right? You working on some things. When you're not working on things, you will be distracted by everything. It's like a squirrel. Somebody says something to you sideways. Oh, I better go give this attention. Give them my attention right now. I ain't got shit else going on. Let me go handle this right here. Not give yourself another story to go tell your homies about. Like, yo, man, this person was talking shit about me earlier and I did this and that. Nah, man. That's little boy shit. We on grown man type shit. All right. So you want to have like a purpose. Be mindful of where you place your time and attention. Hey, fellas or women, whoever's in here. Appreciate y'all joining me, man. If y'all don't mind doing me a favor, y'all hit that like button if you're enjoying the conversation, if you're enjoying the content so far. I really appreciate y'all. All right. So yeah, the first actionable step is to pick your battles, like I said. And this other one, man, this second one, man, is a powerful one too. It's learning how to pause before you respond. All right. Now I know this sound like, all right, here you go, you know, with the hippie stuff or whatever, or it ain't even really hippie stuff. It's just, this shit is almost like magic in a way. When something happens to you, when something gets said to you, and in my mind, I'm thinking about like a work setting, because I feel like that's kind of when we deal with a lot of nonsense. Don't say something right away. Like, you don't have to respond right away. You may think you do. This is what I used to deal with a lot. Like, if something got said, it's like, I'm supposed to address this right now in the moment. Otherwise, I'm not being a man. I'm not handling it like I'm supposed to. I'm letting that person slide. And what you are really doing, you're not letting them slide. You're giving yourself an opportunity to get back to a place of calm, like just calm energy, grounded energy, so that what you do decide to say is not some harsh type stuff. You got to give yourself that space. The space is very important. From what somebody says to you, whatever they said, whatever they did, they cut you off in traffic, your response to that, the space in between that's the most important like element. It's what you choose to do with that. You got to give yourself some time to like regulate yourself, to get yourself back to zero or as close to zero as you can. Because, you know, we get angry, we get upset about things, and it may take you time to be able to calm down and get back to a place where you can have a conversation. That may not happen in just a couple of minutes. It may take you an hour. You know, that's why it's so important to be able to create distance between like the stimulus. What stimulated you? What was said to you? Somebody said some crazy stuff to you? And then your response on the other end. Give yourself some time to be able to calm down so you can get to a more like a healthier response. It's very important to be able to do that, man. You save yourself a lot of trouble in life. And you save yourself a lot of time in having to repair. And by repairing, I mean like repairing relationships, repairing certain moments with your kids, because we are naturally like so impulsive. Somebody said something to you and you impulsively said, no, I'm not about to let that slide. I'm about to tell you right now in this moment, don't ever talk to me like that. And or F you, this and that. You might be spouting off a bunch of stuff. And you're not even realizing how much your nervous system is getting involved in this too. You ever get real angry? This used to happen to me too. Like when you start yelling or you get at an elevated state, you can feel that shit within inside you. Like you can feel it's like this fire is burning inside you. You might be yelling, cussing. And then when it wears off, you're tired, you drained. You feel like you just ran a damn marathon. Because you really did. You ran like an emotional marathon. But we don't realize it when we're in the moment. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's really important. And to tie this all back up into the whole disrespect thing, you want to start implementing this, man. You want to be able to start pausing. You want to be able to start getting yourself back to a cool, calm, grounded state. Okay? Regulating yourself. I feel myself getting all passionate up in here. Because this is stuff that I really dealt with, man. I really struggle with this shit. I know how it is. Yo, let me know if y'all enjoying the content so far, man. Like, put me a 1 in the comment or something like that, bro, if this is flowing for you. Also, I see I got a couple more people in here. if you're enjoying it, there you go, man. I appreciate y'all hitting that like button for me, man. If it's flowing for you, bro. But yeah, so those actionable steps, like I said, I'd only written a couple down, man. Pick your battles. Pause before you respond. You know, I'm kind of adding one to it now. You know, just make sure that you know how to like regulate your emotional state, man. And you know, I'm not going to be so much on the actionable right here, but just stop taking everything so personally. You know what I mean? Like we take a lot of things personally. We let our ego and everything get in the way. You know, once you even realize what ego even is, it's such a complex topic that I'm not going to get all into it right now. But once you understand like this identity, how you see yourself, whoever's watching this, and how you think of yourself, if somebody says something to you and it attacks how you think of yourself, you're going to feel disrespected all the time. All right. So you want to get to a point where you can kind of separate from that identity that you have of yourself. We all see ourselves in a certain light. But once you put the awareness on, this is just an identity that's just been developed since I was a kid. And if somebody like questions that, somebody challenges that, I may feel disrespected. And it's how I choose to respond to this perceived disrespect that makes the difference. It all starts with you. It starts with me. This is how you conquer yourself, man. These types of things. Change your mindset, improve your self-awareness, improve your emotional intelligence. It's all awareness, bro. If we're not aware of this stuff, we will never change it, and we will always fall victim to it. Not victim, we always like fall prey to it. It'll always run our lives. You be walking down the street and somebody walking too close to you and you feel disrespected. That person in their own world, they in la la land, they ain't even paying attention. Just take a deep breath and keep it moving. Not everything has to be addressed. All right, so look, man, I just wanted to hop on this live real quick. Early Saturday morning thoughts. The few folks that jumped in here, man, I appreciate y'all sharing your time with me. And that's pretty much all I got for you, man. I hope that you could take something from this. I hope that it provided you with some value, man. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. I really appreciate it. If you did, I really appreciate it. All right. But I think that's all I got for you, man. Y'all got any questions or anything like that, feel free to tap in here. But yeah, man, it all starts with us, bro. All start with the mindset. But yeah, seems like everybody good up in here, man. All right, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. All right, keep an eye out for another video. All right, I'm gonna holler at y'all.